Welcome. Again, my name is Kelly Rexine. I work for the state of North Dakota. With me today is Tyler Ward. We are both IT specialists with Edutech. We're Regional Services Division within North Dakota Informational Technology. NDIT is doing whatever possible to ensure the entities we support will be able to function in a wide variety of situations. For K-12 schools, we know North Dakota administration and educational personnel are carefully navigating how to proceed with classes, communication, and collaboration while addressing COVID-19 concerns. Edutech mission remains to provide technology services and leadership to improve teaching and learning in North Dakota PK through 12. We are continuing that mission by providing this webinar series, and we are here to support our K-12 community with support, training, and resources. This webinar is available for hours towards credit. So if you signed up, you'll see those hours within your EduTech dashboard after today. Or if you need to register, Tyler, if you just put that link into the chat so they can register there too. But if you registered already, you would see that within after today, after I close out the class. So yeah, let's get started. So we have today we just have some new features to show you about what is coming out, and some of them are available, some of them are not, but we know that they are planned. So we have some new features that I'm going to show. I'm going to switch it over to Tyler for some tips and tricks that you can within Microsoft Teams that you can kind of may not know that are there, or things that are a little bit easier to do for certain ways. And then I'm going to show you some new phone features, some features that reside just on your phone, so you might have some things that are there that you may not know also. Really quickly, I'm going to show this first one. And this is a screenshot simply because we do not have this feature quite yet. We tested it out yesterday, but it's a 9x9 grid. So normally, and now you would only see at best 4 people. Microsoft Teams is rolling out a 9x9, so you'll see, or a 3x3, sorry, 3x3. So you'll see 9 people. And now you can see yourself. Obviously, Mike would be the presenter. You can see on the top right, and he is all the way down on the bottom right. So you'd actually see 10 people. You'd see yourself and then 9 others. So that's kind of how the 3x3 grid looks. From there, I'm going to show you the raise hand feature, and you'd also note that on here you have a raise hand. So I'm going to get back out of here and share my other screen for you. There we go. All right, so now you should see I'm in Microsoft Teams, the desktop. I'm in another window, or actually another user account. But if I go ahead and click Meet Now, I'm going to hit Meet Now. So now I'm in a different account. But if I add myself here, or actually I don't really need to add myself, you'll note that you can see that this raise hand feature is there. And this is a test account. We don't have these right now, but it is coming. But if you raise your hand, this is really nice. I think this could be really valuable to, especially if you have a bunch of students within the same meeting, or just like what we're doing now. Maybe somebody has a question but doesn't really want to butt in or turn off their mic. They can just click on this little hand here, and now you can see on the chat you would have your hand up, so anybody would be able to see that. Hey, Kelly's got a question. I can go and say unmute and go ahead with your question. So when I click on lower hand, then my hand goes away, which is kind of nice. And another thing within this too that isn't quite available yet is this download attendees list. This is kind of cool because, say, especially for something like what we're doing today, we want to get all these people credit, or you want to make sure that you know how many people are at the meeting, or these certain people are at the meeting. You can click on this, and it should be download attendee list. And that will be it'll give you a download of everybody that was within the meeting, which is kind of nice. So, all right, so that is kind of the new feature of 3x3 grids that we don't have quite yet. The raise hand feature, which is here, and then the download attendees list with there. So we wouldn't have that quite yet, but you'll be able to see that soon. I'm going to switch over again to my normal account. This one, there we go. So another thing that you can do within Teams, I'm going to go into a team and I'm going to go down to the staff team here. And on the left-hand side, I have a team just made. So this would be when I go ahead and create a team, this would be the staff, like say that you are administrator and you have your third grade team, your science team, all these people and all your staff within this. So this is kind of the team that I'm working off here. So if I click on the staff team, tags are kind of nice. So maybe you, like I said, maybe you have different divisions within your team. So all I have to do is click on this little ellipses here, and I click on manage tags. And when I click manage tags, it say, hey, let's create a tag, because I don't have any right now. So I can go ahead and create a tag. And then maybe I have, oh, this is the tag name. So let's say this is the leadership team. So I'm going to give this a name of leadership, and I'm going to say Tyler's in my leadership team, Steve's in my leadership team, and Fake Kelly's in my leadership team. And now I can hit create, and now that gives them a tag of leadership. So what happens there is that when you go down here and when you put in the @ symbol, so you can say @team, and this is going to ping all of your team members within this team right now. But if I give them an @leadership, so there, that's only going to ping 3 people. So now yes, there might be 40 different people within this team, but it's only going to really give a notification to those 3 people. You could add their names, but again, this is just an easier way. If you had 10 people on that leadership team, you just typed in @leadership, and then you can give a little ping to those 10 people instead of 3. Or instead of typing those names in. So, all right, so that's kind of how tags works. There is custom backgrounds. So if I go back here and I go back into, actually I have to stop sharing here. If I go back into this, and you should be able to see, if I go here, there is show background effects. So if I'm in my Teams meeting and I click on the little ellipsis, it says show background effects. And you'll note that there's a couple different backgrounds that you can choose from. So a lot of times you're going to get what you get within your own background, but here we don't have any background. Here it's a blurred backgrounds, and here's just different things that you can add to it. So here's a Minecraft one. If you click on Minecraft, other people won't see your video until you preview, but you will, because I'm sharing my screen. So I'm going to hit start preview, and there you go. I'm in kind of this Minecraft world or scene kind of thing. The blur kind of blurs out my background, so you wouldn't see kind of what's behind me. But you can go ahead and play with those, and then once I turn on my video, everybody would be able to see this. So you're seeing this because I'm sharing my screen, but everybody would be able to see this once you hit apply and turn on. There is another feature that's coming that you'll have a little plus here that you can upload your own backgrounds. So you'd be able to find anything that you want. You wouldn't just be limited to this right here, but that's coming too. So you can turn on and off those and do those whichever way you wish. There are some other meeting options. So if I go back to Teams here, and actually let's go into my calendar here. Let's go into this one right away. So Tyler created this webinar meeting. And note that there's some meeting options. Some new ones that have taken place here are, if I bring this up here for you. There we go. There's just a couple new ones that have
Kelly,
been.
if you don't mind, if I interject really quick, we only see your Teams window, not the meeting options.
Gotcha. I'll fix that. Thank you. There we go. Let's do there. All right, sorry about that. So now you should see all of this. So when I click on just a meeting option or meeting options within a calendar invite, here's some other options that you have. So who can bypass the lobby? People in my organization, so they would have to sign in with their K-12 account, or everybody. Basically, if somebody wanted to join in without a K-12 account, they would have to sit in the lobby until somebody approves them. I always let callers bypass the lobby. So this could say, okay, even though this is on, we can just let them bypass the lobby. Announce when callers leave or join. So this would say, well, do you want to say, hey, Tyler left the meeting? Tyler entered the meeting, yes or no. That's new. This really isn't new, but it's valuable to show you. But who can present? So if you had a teacher or a bunch of students and they all present, you wanted them to present, you can just say everyone or everybody within my organization, my K-12, or only me or specific people. So Tyler created this, so he could say, oh, only me can present, or specific people. So he put specific people, and now I have that option to present also too. So go ahead and hit save, and then you're good to go with that. I'm going to go back here. Keep on switching here for you. There we go. Another option that you can do within Teams is actually, I probably wouldn't have it on here. Tyler, you might have to show that, but it would say end meeting, because I guess I'm recording it too, so you'd see that too. This is a little bit different, but Tyler will be able to show that when he's showing his screen. Instead of just hanging up, so if I click on this, I'm going to hang up the call. Everybody's still going to be in this. So if as a teacher I hang up, well, my kids can still technically be within this meeting that I created. But within this little ellipses here, if I can click on that, it'll say end meeting. And then I can click on end meeting, and then it ends it for all the participants and all the attendees, which is nice, because then your students aren't hanging around talking within the meeting that you already created. So that's another feature. Another kind of cool feature is when if I go back to Teams and I go into a classroom team and I create an assignment. So if I go to assignments here. This was just added last week, and Jason had a Make Code webinar on our YouTube channel that he kind of went through more of this in depth. But if I click on an assignment and I can enter in all this stuff, but if I hit add resources, I can add Word documents and whatever. But you'll notice that there's a Make Code option now, and now you'll be able to add a Make Code assignment or any of these that right from Make Code. So we can kind of show you how that is. So you attach it. Each student will get their own copy. So each student would be able to say, so maybe my title was create something within MakeCode, or create a digital name tag within MakeCode. They would click on it. It would open right within Teams. They could work on it. And then once they hit close, everything's saved right here. So if I add anything, everything's saved right within that assignment. So yeah, so that's another kind of new feature that's within the assignments tab. You'll note that some of them I already have these pinned, but you can pin different channels. So so again, we have our ITS team, but we have certain channels that I use a lot. So our general channel, and then now obviously our webinar channel. And so maybe it's this general channel or online lectures that I use a lot. I can click on that and I can click pin, and that'll just pin it to the top here. So I have all my teams, and I don't need to click into them and find which one I really needed. Maybe I'm a part of that team, but I just really need to know about the online lectures, I can just pin that to the top, and then once I click on that, it goes right to that channel, which is really, really nice. So that pin works nice. Lastly, that I'm going to show you, all of these kind of work nice, and they're kind of hard to find, what's new. If I go to the help, and there's a what's new tab. If I click on that, this will open right within Teams, but it'll kind of give you the options of things that are new or what's coming out. So there you go. There's some your meeting options and tags and those kind of things. So there's that end meeting that I was talking about. You click on the ellipsis and it hits end meeting. But yeah, so this is just a place that you can go to. Anybody has this within Teams. It's at help, and then what's new, and so you'd be able to see any of those that are new. For now, I'm going to switch it over to Tyler. He's going to take over the screen, and we'll show you a little bit about live captions. Maybe.
Yep, I'm here, Kelly. Sorry.
Right.
Did you share? Did you stop sharing your screen yet?
Oh yeah, there you go. There you go.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Like Kelly said, my name is Tyler. I'm one of his colleagues with EduTech. I'm gonna. Whoops. Darn it! I missed one step. Give me one more second. I apologize. All right. So now you should be able to see my screen, correct, Kelly?
Correct.
All right. So here is my Teams window. So Kelly mentioned before that end meeting option. So since I'm the organizer of this meeting under the ellipses, when I select it here, that's where that end meeting option is there, and that will kick everybody off, including myself, when the meeting has concluded. I also want to show you another option here. This is called live captions. So this is a new option that's coming if you don't have it already. If you click on that option, now you can see my screen shifted on the bottom, but as I begin to talk, or Kelly talks, or anybody in the meeting, their captions will show up here. So this is great for those who need a little bit of help with listening to a presentation, or maybe you're in a loud environment like an airport, and it's hard to hear, but if you have this turned on, you can see what it is the presenter or your colleagues are saying. So even Kelly, I'll give you a second here to start talking, and you'll be able to see his comments here show up.
No, that was a good demonstration, and yeah, just this is a really good way to. I think a lot of times, especially I have kids in the house, and a lot of times that I can't always hear what's going on. So this would be a nice little addition.
Right, and on the note of kids too, I apologize in the background if you hear my son chirp. He's in the other room. But again, like Kelly said, if you have kids in the background and you're working from home during this time, this is a great feature to have turned on. So next, I'm going to share a window with you with one of our quick tip videos that our colleague Jason has created. This will demonstrate how to share system audio during a Microsoft Teams meeting. So what that would mean is if you're sharing a YouTube video with your students, or if you have a video downloaded to your machine, or you're using a old DVD that you want to share with your kids, this video will show you how to share that system audio with your students so you're all on the same page. So give me 1 second to start this, and you'll be able to see and hear Jason's demonstration.
In this quick tip video, I'm going to show you how you can share system audio during a Teams meeting. I'm going to join in a Teams meeting that I already have going right now, but when I hover my cursor over the screen, I get this toolbar that will pop up. In the middle of that toolbar, I have the share icon. If I click on it, now I can share my screen, I can share a particular window, or I can even share a whiteboard. Another option that I do have is include system audio. If I click on this, it puts a little check mark in the box. Now, if I would share my screen and do something like play a YouTube video, the audio for that video will be shared with everybody that's attending the meeting. One thing I do want to point out is that this is an option that is only currently available for the Windows 10 desktop app. It is not available currently for a Mac, for the web version, or the mobile version of Teams. But now I'm going to choose the window that I want to share. Now, if I would play a YouTube video, the audio is also going to be shared with everybody that's part of the meeting. Now, if I did share my screen, but I forgot to turn on sharing system audio, I still have the option to do that right from here. If I click on the top part of my screen, I have another toolbar that shows up. And inside of that toolbar, I have another icon that lets me share the system audio. Currently, I'm sharing it. So if I click on it again, I'm going to stop sharing the audio. But I can toggle that on and off during the course of the meeting. That might be useful if you forget to share your audio as soon as you start sharing your screen. Or if you want to share your screen and play a YouTube video, you want the audio to come through, but then you can turn off this option so other sounds from your computer, like email notifications, aren't shared with the rest of the team. If you have any other questions with Microsoft Teams, please reach out to us at help@k12.nd.us.
All right, so thank you, Jason, for that. As you guys know right now, I'm currently sharing my screen, and that option does exist. If I go to the top, you can see I'm presenting, and there is that option hiding for sharing system audio. So right now, if I'd say I'm done with this option, I could click on this and turn it off, and now system audio wouldn't be included if I begin to present later on. But I'm going to leave that turned on as I have one more video I'd like to show you here in just a moment. So the next topic I would like to show you is just a quick tip. It's called the keyboard shortcuts. So inside of your Teams window here, if you were to press Control on the keyboard and the period key, you'll be presented with these keyboard shortcuts. So if you're a fan of copy and paste and print, so Control V, Control P, here are some features inside of Teams that may help you speed up your day. So you can see here we have general shortcut commands, which is Control period, show commands, so forth, zoom in and out. All of these are great. If you are a Mac user, instead of using Control, you would switch the Control tile on my screen here to a command. So it'd be command period. But these are all still the same. So these are great. So let's say I have a call coming in from a colleague and I want to accept it without having to move my mouse all the way down to the bottom right hand side of the screen. I could just accept the call by saying Control-Shift-A or Control-Shift-S, depending on if I wanted a video call or an audio call. Or let's say maybe I'm not available at this time, I would say Control-Shift-D to decline that call coming in. If I wanted to view my work week, I could say Control-Alt-2 on the keyboard to see my calendar. So I'll do that for you right now. Darn. I guess that one doesn't want to work for me today. Let's try a different, we'll try the zooming in and out. So on the screen here, I can say Control+ to zoom in. And now you can see Kelly's head is getting larger. If I press Control-, now I can zoom out. So I could sit here and show you all those commands, but again, if you want to view them at your leisure, it's just Control period on your keyboard, and then that should appear. And again, if you're done looking at them, you can press Escape or the little X on the top right-hand side. Another fun feature that's out there that's been there for a little bit of time is called the praise function. So I'm going to go into Teams, and I'm going to go to my practice classroom. And praise is the option here on the bottom. It looks like a small medal that you would give to someone at a track and field day. So if I want to give somebody praise, I'm going to click on that option. And then I'm presented with badges that I would like to share with that person. So let's say I want to pick on leadership because Kelly's doing a great job of leading today. I would have to type in his name in the to section. So just entering his email address. I don't think Kelly's a part of this. I know Jason is though. So there's Jason. And then I can add him a quick note. So I can thank him for leading today's training. If I click preview, it'll give me an option to see what it's going to look like. And then when I press send, now that praise is going to be sent to Jason. And it's also going to be tied to this entire team. If I wanted to give Jason praise individually, I can go into the chat icon and find his name there. Or actually, I'm going to use Kelly here. I can give praise individually as well. So I can click praise. And then I can say courage. Oh, can't spell. So I can thank him for taking a chance. And now that's sent to Kelly individually. If you had a group chat going on with more than one people, again, all those participants would see that option. So the next feature I want to show you here is how to translate messages inside of Teams. And this is where our friend Mike that Kelly was mentioning earlier comes into play.
Okay, we'll be showing how to translate a message in Teams. And just a note, your IT administrator has to enable this first. So I'm going to click on my photo up top, and I'm going to go to Settings. Now let's say I'm a student that speaks Spanish at home and primarily reads Spanish. I can scroll down here and change my language. Now I'll select Spanish. There we go, and now I save and restart. So now I'm back in and I still have the message from my teacher here, but now I'm going to go to the ... menu and I'm going to click on Translate here and watch what happens. That message is now translated into Spanish so I can read this full message at home. This also works for chat. So if I go to chat in the upper left, here's a message right here in my chat window. I go to the ... menu and I click Translate. And it translates that message right into Spanish. So really great for students that might not be able to read the native language quite as well. It can also be useful for their parents if their parents are engaging.
All right, so thank you, Mike. So back into Teams here, if you wanted to try that option out, you will go to the top right-hand side of the screen where you see your photo. And then we will find Settings. And then under the general category here, if I just scroll down, here is that app language. So if I was a student who spoke Spanish, I would select the option here, scroll through, and then find my native language. And then I would click Save and Restart, and then it would be applied to my version of Teams. I'm not going to do that for you today as I would drop out of the call, but just know that that's where the feature is hiding. The next option I'd like to show you inside of Teams is a classroom poll. So let's say you want to have a ice cream party with your students and you want to know what ingredients to bring. You can go to the bottom in the conversations category there and type @forms. And I can create a form now to quickly test my students, or again, in our scenario, we're going to find what we need to bring for our ice cream party. So by clicking on that option of forms there, I can now begin to enter my question and my options. Now click next. I get a preview of what the form will look like. When I hit send, this will be sent to my practice team. And now you can see the form has been created. So here's where my students would enter in their options, and then I would be able to see this come in live. So Jason, if you could, would you like to share with the crowd your favorite ice cream flavor? If not, that's okay. You may be a little shy. Oh, that's okay. There it is. Great. So Jason likes strawberries. So now we know for our ice cream party, we'll have to bring strawberry ice cream for Jason. Another option too is inside of Teams is called @Poly. That is an add-on you'll have to add. If I type in @Poly, it's another form tool that I can use to create the same effect inside of Teams here. Oh, looks like I have to sign in, so I'm not going to waste much time there. But again, just know it's the same thing. They're both great ways to test the water for student understanding, or in this case, an ice cream party. The next option I'd like to show you is called Immersive Reader. So I'm just going to scroll up here to a previous post. And let's say I'm having trouble reading. I would go to the top right of that post and then click on the More Options section. And then in this list here, I have Immersive Reader. If I click on this, my screen will change into the Immersive Reader app that's built into all of Microsoft's products. And when I click play, I will be able to hear and see the post being read to me.
Tyler Ward at Tuesday, April 7th, 2020, 10:06 a.m.
So you get the idea there. On the top of the screen here, there's three options. The A's that you see here is the text option. I can increase or decrease the text size. I can toggle on and off the switch to increase line spacing. And I have three fonts here that Microsoft just preloads because they feel that they're the easiest to read for students who may have trouble reading or have dyslexia. And then also I have these color options here to change the background. So if a student has a color blindness or has trouble focusing, they may want to change that to help the student be more successful. The next option here in the center is called the grammar options. It looks like a magic wand with some lines. I can then toggle off on these parts of speech, so nouns, verbs, and so forth. And you can see inside of my sentence, they're becoming highlighted in that respective color. And then the last option here is show labels. So if I'm a student who has trouble identifying verbs, adjectives, nouns, and so forth, here is a great way to show them where those specific words are hiding in that sentence. And then finally in the top right is reading preferences. I can choose to have a line focus. I can focus on one line at a time or three. I can, when I turn this off, makes it easier for me to see here. But now when I click on, there's a picture dictionary tab I can turn on and off. So let's say a student has trouble understanding what a channel is. You can see here the picture dictionary will help describe that to them. And then lastly, we can also choose to translate this post into a child's native language. So again, if I'm a Spanish speaking student, I can then translate it by word, or I can choose the document option, and now the entire document is translated. So now when I press play, you'll hear it being read in that language.
Tyler Ward el martes, 7 de abril de 2020, 16 a.m.
So pretty cool option there, right? So again, that's Immersive Reader. Another thing I would like to touch on really quickly again is the translation function. So we said earlier we went to the top, click on settings, and I translated my teams into that native language. So the students would come to that more options tab here and click translate. And then you would see when this icon appears, the post or any messages inside of Teams will be translated to that child's native language. This is also great for parents as well if you have a team for parents. The next option I'd like to show you here is under the assignments category. I went ahead and created an assignment for my students called for an algebra quiz. So under my practice classroom team here, you will see this assignment. So here's my algebra quiz that was due yesterday. You can see here I have 2 of 6 students who returned it. And now Jason and Ben are the 2 that have submitted it. I already have their grades in, 3 for Jason and 4 for Ben. So that's pretty nice and easy. So to create something like this here, I'm going to click on the back arrow and choose create. And I'm going to choose a quiz. So when I choose quiz, forms is going to automatically pop up, and it's going to go through all of the forms I have created in my Office 365 account. So let's say I need some feedback from my students on our Ultimate Frisbee game. I will select that one. Or actually, you know what, I'm going to click algebra again. Let's say I want the students to redo it because I want you to see how it's graded. So here's my algebra quiz. It's actually going to load this into Teams. And since I have made this points available inside of forms, you can see that this is the total possible number of points. So I'm just going to click assign and have this assigned to all my students. And then there it is. What that looks like from the form side quickly. Is this. So inside of my Forms account or app inside of Teams, you will see these are all of my forms. Here's my algebra quiz that I created that I just showed you. And when I created this, I gave it the option to have points added. So that's where the 4 points came in for that form that I created. And it's only 4 questions long, so I gave it, as a teacher, 1 point per question. Since we're here, I just want to show you this one more time. Inside of Forms, there is an option called Group Forms. This is where I can come to see any forms I have assigned to any classrooms that I am a part of as a teacher. So here's an algebra quiz. And again, this is a way to come and see all those results. So I'm going to jump back into my Teams window here. And I would like to show you quickly the option for grid and list view. So inside of Teams currently today, my team is set up as a list. I like this preference. But if you are somebody who likes the tile option or the grid option, here's where you will change that. You'll go to the top and click on your picture, and then on settings, you will see in the center here under the general category, the layout of grid or list. So if I click on grid, it changes automatically when I click the X to close. Now you can see all of my teams that I am currently watching, and anything that's hidden now looks like this grid view. Okay. Next, I want to show you how to save conversations really quickly. So inside of a chat or a team, you can save conversations. So I'm going to go to my classroom team here. And let's say I wanted to save Jason's praise on leadership. I can click on more options. I can click save this message. And now it is bookmarked for me to review later. To view it quickly, I can go to the top and click on my picture, and then go to the option called saved. And then I'm presented with all of the saved messages that I want to review at a later time. Now this leads me to my final feature for you. This is called the search bar on top. So by clicking on this and I choose the slash command, I now am presented with all these options. So if I wanted to be shown as away, I could type in /away, and now you'll notice my setting of my status is now set as away, so I have a yellow circle here. But let's say I want to find all of my saved messages. I can type /saved, and then I'm taken to my save list here. Or maybe I just want to search for somebody. Let's say I need to talk to Kelly, so I can type in Kelly's name in this search bar up here. And as you can see, his name appears. And now this brings me to our chat. So that is it for me. I'm going to turn it back over to Kelly. He's going to show you some new features using a mobile device.
All right, thanks, Tyler. Yeah, so I just wanted to give you a couple different things that you can do on the phone. So now you should be able to see my work phone here, the teams that I'm available. I'm right within Microsoft Teams. The one thing that you can do within, and Tyler already kind of showed this, but you can turn live captions on the phone too, so you'd be able to see and those read to you. So I wanted to make sure that you know how to do that. You can, from here, you can, on the bottom here, you have activities, chat, teams, assignments, and more. Oh, Tyler, can you mute for a sec?
So, Daddy, you're lucky Mommy's a good driver.
Tyler?
You bet.
There you go. All right, yeah, just okay. So you have activity, chat, teams, assignment, and more. If I click on the more, it's going to bring up on the bottom as say files, different other things that you can do. But there's also a reorder on the top right. I can click on reorder, and now I can drag those however I wish. So maybe I want my calendar. I can just tap on it and drag that up there. So maybe I want my calendar on the front. So now you can see on the bottom here, my calendar's on the bottom left. I can drag them any which way I want. Note you only can have 5 down here plus the more. So if I drag in files to here, it's going to kind of bump that last one off. So obviously I'll bump off the files there. So you can switch those however you wish. So that's kind of how you can reorder those apps. In here that you can go to the top left here where the little hamburger is, you can tap on that, and then you get your user information. On the top left, you see notifications. If I click on notifications, you can see that that's on. How do you want your notifications on or off? The one that I wanted to point out is the quiet hours. If I have that off right now, but if I tap on that, you can get some quiet hours of, if I turn that on, you can say, well, I want my quiet hours to start at 9 p.m. to whenever 6 a.m. And then maybe I want certain days off. So maybe Sunday and Saturday and Sunday, I want to kind of shut those off and not enable those notifications. So right now, I wouldn't get any notifications on any days from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. And then my quiet days would be Saturday and Sunday. So that's kind of how you can turn those on and off. On the underneath there, the receive notifications, only when inactive on desktop and web. Usually I usually put this on always, simply because I'm on my desktop and web all the time, and I'm on my phone, so I feel like if I have my computer open and I have my phone on me somewhere else and I don't see it on my phone right away, it's the Microsoft Teams will think that I saw it because I have my computer open, but really I didn't. So, and then the different notifications that you can turn on and off right from here. Like, do you want a notification if you missed a call? Do you want a notification if you replied? Alerts, those kind of things too. So yeah, and then if I go back to that again, you would go to settings. If you go to settings down here underneath notifications, you have couple different options within here. You have a dark mode that I'll kind of show you what that looks like. I like dark mode, but some people don't. But it basically restarts the application, and now you're in the dark mode. So now you can see that it's a little darker, and the text is white instead of black. You can also go into, so if I go into a chat and I go into here, I can type and add my chat how I wish, but I can also on the bottom right here, or middle right, you can just tap and hold that little icon, and that gives you an option to voice your chat, so you don't need to type it in. So maybe you're within a car, or you had a long message that you want to tell somebody. You can just say it rather than type it. So hello, how are you doing? So all I do is hold it down, talk into it. I can hit play it, I can trash it, or I can send it, and now that would be sent to an account or the user, and they would be able to hit play and view that. So lastly, I just want to touch on is that within the settings here too, you should see the what's new. Again, I showed you that kind of on Microsoft Teams on the desktop version, but there is also what's new within there. If I click on what's new, note that you see that now it says iOS because I am on an iPhone, so it'll kind of differentiate which device you're on. So there's the desktop and web view, the iOS and Android. So here are some new features that are out for iOS. So as of April 3rd, tags are here. You can go into live captions. There you go. There's your live captions again. Those kind of things. So you can go and view all those and kind of see what's new for the phone. All right. Well, I'm going to switch over and share. Our last slide here, again, if you want to see what's new, go to help and click on what's new. But I thank everybody for their time and efforts during this time. It's kind of been kind of a crazy month or two, but we're here to help. If you can contact me or Tyler anytime, and then also our help desk at help@k12.nd.us. But I did want to take some time just to make sure that there was, if there is any questions, or I haven't looked at the chat in a while, so if there is any questions on the chat, or if anybody wants to mute their mic and ask a question, you're willing to do that now.
Kelly, at this time, there's no questions. Jason has done a great job assisting us in the background, answering those that have came in.
Okay, thanks. Any others? Well, hearing none, we will sign off. But again, you're welcome to contact our help at k12.nd.us email address there for any thing that you'd like. So thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Stay safe.